plexus. The brachial plexus is a plexus of spinal nerve that supplies motor and sensory nerves to the entire upper limb. It also supplies a few muscles present in the trunk region. In addition to the muscles, through its connections with the sympathetic ganglia, the brachial plexus supplies the sweat glands, the blood vessels, and the erector pili muscles of the skin. Location: the brachial plexus lies partly in the posterior triangle of the neck and partly in the axilla. Formation: the brachial plexus consists of roots. The roots unite to form the trunks, which divide and again reunite to form cords. Cords divide into branches that supply the muscles and skin. The roots, trunks, and divisions are supraclavicular. The cords and their branches are infraclavicular. Relations: supraclavicular part. The roots. The roots of the brachial plexus are derived from the anterior or ventral primary rami of the fifth cervical to first thoracic spinal nerves, that is, C5 to T1. Occasionally, the contribution of the fourth cervical nerve is greater. T2's contribution is absent, and there is a minimal contribution by T1. This brachial plexus is called a prefixed plexus. Similarly, in case the contribution by T2 is greater, C4 is absent, and the contribution of C5 is lesser, it is called a post-fixed brachial plexus. The trunks. The trunks are formed by the union of the roots. There are three trunks: the upper, the middle, and the lower trunk. The upper trunk is formed by the union of the C5 and the C6 roots. The middle trunk is a continuation of the C7 root. The lower trunk is formed by the union of the C8 and the T1 roots. The divisions. The divisions are formed as a result of the branching of the trunks. Each of the upper, middle, and lower trunks divide into anterior and posterior divisions. These divisions ultimately supply the anterior and posterior parts of the upper limb through various branches. The cords. The cords are formed by the union of the divisions. There are three cords: the medial cord, the lateral cord, and the posterior cord. They have been named based on their relation to the third part of the axillary artery. The lateral cord is formed by the union of the anterior divisions of the upper and middle trunks. The medial cord is the continuation of the anterior division of the lower trunk. The larger posterior cord is formed by the union of the posterior divisions of all the trunks. The branches of the brachial plexus. While cords give rise to most branches, there are also branches arising from the roots and the upper trunk. The branches that arise from the roots are the dorsal scapular nerve, or the nerve to the rhomboids with a root value of C5, and the nerve to the serratus anterior, or the long thoracic nerve with a root value of C5, C6, and C7. Two branches arise from the upper trunk: the suprascapular nerve with a root value of C5, C6, and the nerve to the subclavius with a root value of C5, C6. Three branches arise from the lateral cord: the lateral pectoral nerve with a root value of C5 to C7, the musculocutaneous nerve with a root value of C5 to C7, the lateral root of median nerve with a root value of C5 to C7. The medial cord gives rise to 5 branches. The medial pectoral nerve with a root value of C8T1, the medial root of median with a root value of C8T1, the medial cutaneous nerve of the arm with a root value of C8T1, the medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm with a root value of C8T1, the ulnar nerve with a root value of C7C8T1. The posterior cord gives rise to 5 branches. The upper subscapular nerve with a root value of C5C6, the lower subscapular nerve with a root value of C5C6, the thoracodorsal nerve or the nerve to the latissimus dorsi with a root value of C6, C7, C8. The radial nerve with a root value of C5 to T1. The axillary nerve with a root value of C5, C6.